Hello! I'm Taren S, and this is the House of Witchcraft. I hope you find inspiration, encouragement, and empowerment in all of my videos. And with that said, let's brew some magic, witch. Hello, Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. So wonderful to be here today. I am answering another comment that someone left me that I decided I'm going to turn this one into a video. They were asking me about my bird of death and my bird of life and how I put these on my altar during different times in the year. It's a way for me to tune in. The bird of life goes on the altar for me from December 21st, winter solstice, to summer solstice, June 21st. And then June 21st to December is the dark half of the year, and this is when I bring him out. And this is my own personal way. So we're going to talk about witchy calendars, light half of the year, do folk witches, you do the turn of the wheel. How do we do this? And everything, because I know sometimes for some of you new folk, and even some of you older folks who are tuning in differently, you're thinking about things differently. A lot of times, contemporary pagans, you're introduced to the wheel of the year, the 6 turns based within solstices, equinoxes, and cross quarter. All right, that is a contemporary, modern, Celtic inspired sort of by creation, the turn of the wheel, that creation, completely modern. Old folk, old pagans did not celebrate the turn of the wheel as it is celebrated by contemporary pagans today. All right, so let's start with the fact there is no witch holiday history, but there are a lot of holidays. Within folk magic, which remember that is regional, cultural, and personal, how that translates down to is each witch has their own calendar. And for some of you new folks, you're like, that's so not what I want to hear. But it is so true. Seasons from the different 4 seasons, you will find some magic folk tune into those, celebrate some seasons, other seasons they don't. Some celebrate solstices, equinoxes, others don't. Some celebrate within a Christian holiday format, some don't. Some celebrate a mixture of, because they are standing in their own personal crossroads. And you're going to find that that's what you're going, that's what is a good way for you to start. All right. I'm going to start with light half of the year, dark half of the year. I just stated my personal solstices. Now, if I am working, you will find within some contemporary sources, again, Celtic origins, where they denote the light half of the year and the dark half of the year on the equinoxes, meaning the spring equinox, the fall equinox is where they're denoting their turn for light half, dark half, whereas I denote my turn on the solstices for light half, dark half. All right. This is back to, yes, they're all correct, but which one is the one that makes sense to you? Which is the one that you're like, ooh, that feels good. When you stand there, for some of us in the springtime, you can feel the change of wind. You can feel the warming of the earth. And does that tingle your toes? And for others, it's the fall when they can feel the dead coming. And that tingles their toes. Are you energetically shifting on equinoxes? Are you shifting on solstices? All right. Only you can answer that question. Okay. So once you start to figure that out, I got notes. All right. The witch folk, as far as folkloric witchcraft, all of that, what do we celebrate? What is our wheel of the year? It's typically based within family celebrations. If Christmas is a big thing, then we celebrate Christmas. If Easter is a big thing, we celebrate Easter. Um, if we're within Catholicism and there's saint days, we celebrate those. We celebrate what our family, what our ancestors know. And then at the same time, we overlay what we ourselves are feeling compelled. Here at the house, we give honor to different goddesses that are associated with witchcraft. So we honor their feast days. You'll hear me talking about, at the cottage, we're doing Hecate's feast. And that is something that's personal in my own practice. For me, Hecate's feast is important. As there are other feast days for other deity, forms, aspects of divinity, those are part of your personal calendar. All right? And on the contemporary Pagan's Wheel of the Year, that has really become, the community, we're all aware of it. So when we go places, a lot of times it's done in that format. Even if the tradition doesn't typically use that format, for an open event, we will. I know even in here at the House of Witchcraft, if we're doing an open event, we try to stay within a more known format instead of, opening up the crossroads, beating on the drums. And for some folks, they're just not ready for that. What they expect is what we try to do sometimes with a little bit of extra surprise. All right. So what is this all about? Tuning in to the different times of the year, writing them in your journal, how it makes you feel, where you feel there's a feast day, a day of celebration. If the contemporary wheel of the year, there are ones you vibe on, then celebrate them. All right. There is no one calendar all witches use, and the way we relate to the energies is going to be different. Like I said, for me, I started my little bird of death years ago, and he sat on my ancestral altar. And then several years back, I was in a little gift shop, and I found him, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the bird of life. I didn't plan it. It happened over time to where my little birds have a very significant representation for me personally. Does that mean you can go get your own birds? Absolutely. If you love the idea of putting little birds of life and death on your altar, I would love for you to take that. But don't let you think that that's all you have to do, or that you can only use birds. You can use whatever signifiers you would like. Change your altar up to reflect that season. Let's put him back up here. He stays out and I talk to him during this time of the year. So he's in the forefront. But this is about you tuning into how you feel for the wheel of the year, how you feel for the dark half, how you feel for the light half. When does it start? When do you feel the energy, like I was saying earlier? When do you feel the tingle in your toes, witches? Because that's what it's about. All right, when we can feel the wind of change coming up and you're like, ooh, it's time. A new season is upon us, and that's the time to redo your altars, decorate it for this season. A witch's calendar is the calendar that we all decide as individuals, all right? Use all the different dates and things that you find out there and put together a year of celebrations, of rituals, of magic that makes sense to you personally, witch. All right. I am going to give out a real big thank you to all of you witches who have hit that subscribe button. Leave comments below. And an extra special thank you to those of you that support the House of Witchcraft YouTube channel. You're part of our membership. I want to say thank you. Extra special thank you. And of course, if you want to know more about my world, the House of Witchcraft, please go to houseofwitchcraft.com. If you would like to get involved in Crossroads Witchcraft in our community, look for that 13 Moons button, press it, and come join us. And with that said, I hope y'all have a bright, blessed day. And as always, amen, blessed be, ashe, and a bobo.